May I have your lordship's permission to commence the proceedings of the court?
Please. My esteemed colleagues, Mr. R. Venkataramani, Attorney General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General of India, Mr. Kapil Sibal, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Vipin Nair, President, Supreme Court Advocates and Court Association, members of the bar, family members of late Mr. Justice Kuldeep Singh, late Mr. Justice M. Jagannathan Rao, and late Mr. Justice H.S. Bedi, present in person and online. The Supreme Court carries within it the intellectual heritage of those who have served on the bench. Each judge shapes our understanding of justice anew, with their decisions illuminating unexplored corners of law. As they interpret the Constitution, they also strengthen its living spirit. Today, we are convened to pay homage to three outstanding and distinguished judges of this court: Mr. Justice Kuldeep Singh, Mr. Justice M. Jagannathan Rao, and Mr. Justice H.S. Bedi. We reminisce about their time and their contribution to law of this country. While their judgments and intellect have decisively shaped the legal doctrine, it is their traits as judges that resonate deeply. They and the law lives through their judgments. The institutional spirit is enriched by the grace and wisdom they brought. Mr. Justice Kuldeep Singh. The beginning of Mr. Justice Kuldeep Singh's life was as extraordinary as his profession. At the tender age of 15, during the partition, he took responsibility for his family in the absence of his father and safely brought them to India. Later on, he had the option to continue with his family business, but he chose the career in law. Over the years, his repertoire as an advocate grew, combining eidetic memory of precedents and deep conceptual clarity. Yet it was his role as a mentor that Justice Kuldeep Singh outdid himself. Those who have worked with him in his chambers say that there was no grand instructions or heavy-handed lessons, just room for each person to find their own footing. This quiet, deliberate approach allowed many of those he mentored to flourish in the profession. His elevation in the Supreme Court in 1988 was an historic feat in itself. He was the fourth direct appointment from the bar in that point of time. His name as a Green Judge that he earned captures the essence of his legacy. He transformed environmental law from the set of regulations into a living guardian of a natural heritage. Today, the green benches across the high courts and the National Green Tribunal stand as a testimony to his vision. Quite admirable was the way he bridged the tradition divide between the bar and the bench with natural ease. As comfortable in spirited discussions in the court's coffee shop as in the courtrooms. His career spanning decades, his 8 years on the bench were distinguished by a rare fusion of judicial wisdom, warmth, and transparency. Justice Kuldeep Singh passed away on 25th November 2024. He is deeply remembered by his loving family. We are joined by his wife, Professor Gurminder K. Singh, his two sons, both senior advocates, Mr. Paramjit Singh Patwalia and Mr. Tapinder Singh Patwaria, his daughters, Ms. Simral Chadda and Ms. Chandna Singh, and other family members. Mr. Justice M. Jagannathan Rao. Mr. Justice M. Jagannathan Rao's journey into the legal profession was as unique as inspiring. Though he briefly pursued advanced studies at the Indian Statistical Institute in Kolkata, his heart was drawn to law, where he found his true calling. As an advocate, he was admired for his modest fees and his willingness to support younger colleagues, often arguing the cases with dedication and grace. His generosity and mentorship left an enduring legacy in the legal community. After an accomplished career at the bar, he went on to serve as the Chief Justice of both Kerala High Court and the Delhi High Court before his elevation to the Supreme Court in 1997. His judgment reflects a mind that valued precision and principles. His work on lakes at Hyderabad have created lasting foundations in environment law, establishing the precautionary principle and reverse burden of proof. The reforms he brought in the civil procedure and arbitration reveal his gift for making complex legal machinery practical and effective. His contribution to the legal profession continued long after he hung up his robes. He served as a vice chairman and chairperson of the 16th and 17th Law Commission of India from 2001 till 2006. He submitted 26 reports, starting from 176 report to 201st report on legal issues of contemporary relevance. His straightforward approach to life and law is something quite remarkable. He lived by the principles, integrity in action, simplicity in living, and dedication to justice. Beyond his judicial tenure, he remained deeply engaged in legal education, seeing teaching as a natural extension of his service to law. He served as a professor in Nalsar University and was distinguished member of the academic councils of several leading national law universities and institutions across India. Justice Rao left his legacy that merged scholarly rigor with practical wisdom, professional excellence, and personal humility, a model for a judge. Justice Rao passed away on 25th November 2024. From his family, we are joined today by his son, Mr. Justice M.S. Ramachandra Rao, Chief Justice, Jharkhand High Court, his daughters G. Ratna Manjri and Rama, and other dear family members. Mr. Justice Harjit Singh Bedi. Mr. Justice H.S. Bedi roots lay in the agricultural fields of Saiwal, Punjab. However, Mr. Justice H.S. Bedi brought his own unique blend of wisdom and warmth to these halls. His ascent through the legal ranks was meteoric. Enrolled as an advocate in 1972, he seamlessly balanced legal practice with academia, taking the role of a part-time lecturer in law in 1974. His dual commitment to the law and the classroom highlighted his dedication both to practice and as a student of law. He served as a Deputy Advocate General of Punjab from 1983 to 1987, a role that deepened his engagement with public law. Elevated as a senior advocate in 1987, he was soon appointed Additional Advocate General, a position he held till 1989, before serving as Advocate General for Punjab till the end of 1990. His judicial career began with his elevation to the Punjab and Haryana High Court in 1991. Justice Bedi served as the Chief Justice of Bombay High Court from 2006 to 2007. His career milestone was marked by his brilliance, finesse, and dedication. He was elevated to this court in 2007. He brought tremendous gravitas to this court, yet would fill these halls with smile and laughter, even in sternest proceedings. During his 4 years in this court, his presence carried a quiet authority that commanded respect while creating ease. Outside his work, he found immense joy with his dogs, whom he doted on. Justice Bedi passed away on 25th November 2024. With us today are his sons, Mr. Justice G.S. Bedi, a Judge Punjab and Haryana High Court, Mr. Sarvajit Singh Bedi, together with the other beloved members of his family. These three distinguished judges, though different in their approaches, shared a common thread. They saw law as an instrument of positive change. Their legacies live not only through the judgments, which undoubtedly continue to guide us, but also through the profession itself, in moments of laughter, kindness, encouragement, and mentorship. They strengthened the institutions, upheld the principles, and brought distinctive character to this court. On behalf of my brother and sister judges, members of the bar and the court staff, I convey our heartfelt gratitude to the yeoman service rendered by these distinguished jurists. To the bereaved families of Mr. Justice Kuldeep Singh, Mr. Justice M. Jagannathan Rao, and Mr. Justice H.S. Bedi, no words can soothe the depth of the loss or fill up the void which they leave behind. We honor their memory by striving to uphold the principles, wisdom, and integrity that define their extraordinary lives. May their souls rest in eternal peace. May their example remain a guide light for all of us to follow.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, my dear Solicitor General, Additional Solicitor General, President and Office Bearers of the Supreme Court Bar Association, President and Office Bearers of the Supreme Court Advocates and Record Association, members of the Bar and family members of Justice Kuldeep Singh, Justice Jagannatha Rao, and Justice H.S. Bedi, ladies and gentlemen. On a personal note, paying homage to the three honorable judges brings to my mind many deeply etched reminiscences. Each one of them have touched my professional career and life in special and many ways too profound and too many to be chronicled. Justice Kuldeep Singh. Well, Justice Kuldeep Singh and me were traveling together from Cochin to Delhi much later after the retirement, after attending a conference on environmental law. I learned about his younger days of migration from Pakistan, the tremendous responsibilities he shouldered in caring for the family, and his days of work in the consolidation department in Patiala. His narratives were a mix of the hardships, the sad history of partition, and the subtle teaching of endurance, and it is emotionally fulfilling. This brought me closer to understanding the evolution of his many-sided personality. While he talked about the study of law in India compared to the then systems in England, he was keen to stand by and support the law school experiments in his need to cater to larger sections of the community. Looking back now, I gather that he was prophetic. But what remains with me is another incident. This I recall and state only for the importance of how the ethical reputation we gather in our profession, much more than anything else, has its rewards. When I sought to make a distinction in favor of one amongst a batch of SLPs involving allotment of industrial plots in Faridabad, a bench presided by Justice Kuldeep Singh rejected my request. My entreaties on the ground of corruption did not prevail. Deeply disturbed by the disastrous consequences for the client, I filed a review petition and I mentioned before the bench for oral hearing. Justice Kuldeep Singh said we cannot make exceptions and the procedure will follow. I sat in the first row quietly for some time till miscellaneous matters are heard, showing my deep disappointment, and the judge kept watching me. I stood up again rather emotionally, and I said if there is some room for truth and corruption should not be condoned, I should be heard. Something seemed to have touched Justice Kuldeep Singh's heart. He asked the court master to play the paper book during lunch hours, and during lunch hours they were asked to meet him. With trepidation did I go, but the judge said, I respect your ethical values and the pro bono work you do, which I notice in your practice, and it is that prompts me to hear you again. The matter was heard and I succeeded. Light returned to my client's life. I narrate this not as my incident, not as anything about me, but only to chronicle the deep sensitivity of the judge to respect the importance of ethical values in the profession and his enduring sense of justice. I consider that he displays a sterling quality to the utmost throughout his stay in the court. This stands higher maybe than all other mentioned narrations about the wit and humor, the light banter in the court, and besides the magnetic qualities he had of attracting people being a very special quality. The green judge appellation which the learned judge earned came to him so naturally. I must say that the plenary principles of environmental law, such as sustainable development, polluter pays, and precautionary principles, got embedded in our green jurisprudence owing to the sustained efforts made by the learned judge. The skeletal environmental law then received flesh and blood through his pushing hands. The intellectual and visionary fervor which Justice Kuldeep Singh brought into the bridge between these principles and operationalizing them are remarkable and remain of the environmental law history. Justice Kuldeep Singh had developed a warm and enduring relationship with Justice Krishna Iyer, who I knew had applaudingly regarded Justice Kuldeep Singh's fertile contribution to green law. His 8 years on the bench are etched with the indelible footprints of both the manner of doing justice and doing justice. I remember the toil he gave to the work on delimitation as the chairman of the Delimitation Commission. Few tasks were assigned to me informally, and I recollect his deep insights on the working of elections and how important it is to facilitate the connection between the voters and the candidates. His report on the delimitation subject is a contribution with lasting impact. We join his family of illustrious achievers in sharing the loss of a wonderful human being and a great companion to all. Justice Jagannatha Rao. Rajahmundry in the East Godavari district in the state of Andhra Pradesh has produced notable figures in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Justice Jagannatha Rao, hailing from Rajahmundry and having the benefit of being one in a family of judges, coupled with a school and college education from prestigious institutions in Madras, had naturally acquired all the foundations of entering the higher judiciary. In his 12 years of judgeship in Andhra Pradesh High Court from 1982 till 1994, and 3 years as Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, one can pick up a series of judgments penned by him which were affirmed later by the Supreme Court. One notable instance of constitutional value was in the question whether a cooperative society would be amenable to this jurisdiction. The extraordinary legal acumen, erudition, and passion for simplifying the legal principle led to his being a member in the subcommittee on fundamental rights, the National Commission, to review the working of the Constitution. One can say that the consultation paper presented by Justice Rao on the financial autonomy of the Indian judiciary, as part of the committee headed by Justice H.R. Khanna and Justice V.P. Jeevan Reddy, is a scholarly treat. His reports to the Supreme Court as head of the committee concerning case management formula and ADR and mediation rules have not only been approved judicially, but have become an integral part of the working of the subjects themselves. The 21 reports which were submitted by the 16th and 17th Law Commission under the chairmanship not only cover a wide spectrum of subjects, but the range and depth of his scholarship, coupled with the simplicity of presentation, will always remain as venerable pieces of legal contribution to growth of law. Many of those reports have been in some form or the other translated to statutory instruments. I had the privilege and opportunity of assisting him in doing research for some of his reports. The scintillating mind of Justice Rao was indeed a treasure to be acquainted with. In the short period of 3 years, Justice Rao on the bench in the Supreme Court, Justice Rao not only had the opportunity but engaged himself in demonstration of his extraordinary legal craftsmanship in almost all branches of law. The views on proportionality expounded by him in Ganayatham case and further elaborated in the case of Om Kumar are brilliant pieces of legal exposition. Amongst other judgments which are always quoted are his pronouncement in the M.V. Naidu case, deeply entrenching the sustainable development principle and reversing the burden of proof in litigation involving environmental protection, and the equally brilliant exposition of law in Radheshyam Gupta's case relating to termination of service of probationers, a temporary servant, will remain as part of her jurisprudence. True to his nature, an inclination towards sharing knowledge, Justice Rao spent as much time in academic and educational activities as he could spare from important international commercial arbitration. It will be no exaggeration if one were to say that the word pious would be too small a word to describe the personality of Justice Rao and the endeavoring quality of his life.
His father wished him to join his business in Tehran, but he had other plans. He went to London, where he obtained in 1958 a second law degree from the University of London. He was called to the bar at Lincoln's Inn, where he became a barrister at law. Soon thereafter, he, along with his friend, bought a Rolls-Royce, which they drove from London to Tehran to Chandigarh. This prized possession, I believe, was later donated to the Engineering College in Punjab. Clearly, from his life, clearly for him, life was an adventure. The next great adventure began when he started practice in the district court at Amritsar, and soon thereafter began practicing in the Punjab Haryana High Court at Chandigarh. With his booming voice and forensic skills, he quickly rose to prominence. He developed a large practice, and the multitude of subject matters he dealt with ranged from service law, election law, land acquisition, and constitutional law. He had a spring in his step. When he walked into a room, he was noticed, and the passion with which he presented his case made him a formidable opponent. The indomitable spirit with which he challenged and overcame adversity was reflected in his manner in court. He would always stand up for his client, make his arguments forcefully, knowing that he can deal with any challenge. He was undaunted, however difficult the case or bad the facts, which made him an outstanding lawyer. He was extremely persuasive and never gave up, just like his son Paramjit. that his two sons, Paramjit, and always eager to engage in the development of new ideas, he also worked as a lecturer in Punjab University alongside his legal practice from 60 to 71. He was soon appointed standing counsel for the central government of the High Court, elected as the president of the bar in 1976. Given his stellar reputation as a lawyer, he was discreetly invited, and this is a very interesting incident, by a government in the 1970s to be a High Court judge, on the condition that he gave an undertaking to abstain from consuming alcohol after he resumed office, an ideological position for that political party. Justice Kuldeep Singh was known for his extravagant acts of generosity in regularly sponsoring a round of drinks at the Chandigarh Club, which was frequently frequented by senior and junior lawyers. True to himself, he responded to the offer by saying that he could not give an undertaking that he did not intend to keep. He refused to barter his liberty to enjoy a drink for judgeship. That was the man. His career continued to grow, and in 1987, he was appointed an additional Solicitor General of India. Justice Kuldeep Singh was a nurturing mentor and a dedicated educator. 3 lawyers from his chamber went on to become judges of constitutional courts. Justice S.S. Nijjar, who was appointed as a judge of this court, Justice R.S. Mungia, who went to become the Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court, and Justice M.M. Kumar, who went on to become the Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir High Court. In December 1998, Justice Kuldeep Singh earned the distinction of becoming the 4th lawyer ever to be invited directly to be a judge of the Supreme Court. He loved nature and was passionate about trekking. He would trek from Chandigarh to Kasauli every other weekend. He would spend all his summers up to 1987 in Kashmir. Anyone who finds solace in the midst, the report has further led to calls for reforms in police being carried forward. Family, they being direct descendants of Guru Nanak Ji. He never considered him being carried forward by his son Jasjeet Singh, who is a judge of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. We offer our sincere condolences to you and your families in this time of grief. To all those who are gathered here who have lost their dear ones, we offer on behalf of the bar our heartfelt condolences. May your souls rest in eternal peace.
May I request you all to stand to observe 2 minutes silence. Justice Kuldeep Singh, late Honorable Mr. Justice M. Jagannath Rao, and late Honorable Mr. Justice H.S. Bedi, former judges, Supreme Court of India. Will sit for